This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad and live today. Valentine's Day is a day of love, and it always takes me back to the early days of my relationship with my wife, Lindsay. After having dated her for 3 years, we became engaged and committed ourselves to spending the rest of our lives together. Now, this is nothing out of the ordinary. It happens all the times to happy couples all over the place. But as I went through this step-by-step process of courtship, the strangest thing happened that I'd never experienced before. Married guys were coming out of the woodwork to give me advice. They were coming from all walks of life, whether it was a friend or a family member, a colleague at work, or the guy guarding me during my pickup basketball game. It didn't matter. They all felt the need and the urge to say the same thing to me. Now, their advice wasn't to question my intentions or to discourage me from going through with the wedding. Quite the contrary. They were happy for me and they wanted to see my relationship succeed. Therefore, each of these fellows would say to me, "Eric, there's only one thing you need to remember. Happy wife, happy life." Now, I'm sure that men have been passing this sage advice down to their younger brethren since the beginning of time. It's an instance of guys trying to be cute and funny with their engaged bro. But at the same time, there really is some meat to this statement. Because I had decided to commit myself to Lindsay, I would need to shift my mindset and my focus away from me and onto her. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was about we. In addition to being Valentine's Day in the secular world, in the religious world, today is a day we call Transfiguration Sunday, a day when we celebrate and remember the time when Jesus takes 3 of his best friends high up on a mountain for a spectacular encounter with God. Jesus' clothes are transformed into a dazzling white that detergent commercials would just salivate over. 2 of the oldest and most respected biblical heroes of yesteryear, Moses and Elijah, they make an appearance and have a conversation with Jesus. What they said, we do not know. And the Father in heaven has a telling message for all who are present to hear. The mountaintop experience is a moment of commitment. Jesus taking Peter, James, and John with him shows that he is all in on being the fulfillment of God's salvation plan for humanity. He's letting these 3 in on a little secret, that he is indeed God's Son, and the direction that he is headed is to the cross. Jesus can't back down now. He now has witnesses to the glory of God that emanates from him. The disciples' eyes are open to the fact that Jesus is more than a teacher with unconventional teachings of acceptance and love. This man that they have chosen to follow is of God and is the key to giving people a glimpse into who God really is. There is no turning back for Jesus now that this information has been disclosed. The Transfiguration is also a moment of the Father committing himself to the Son. We hear the words boom from on high, "This is my Son, the beloved. Listen to him." After all that has occurred on top of the mountain up to this point, this becomes the cherry on top of the sundae. With these words, it becomes evident and extremely clear that the Father has a plan and that Jesus is the active agent in that plan. Jesus has been commissioned by God to bring love to God's people. And the Father trusts and believes that Jesus can do just that. He has the confidence that this is the best way, it's the only way, to open the creative world's collective eyes to the magnificence of his Creator. While the Transfiguration is a dual commitment of Jesus to the Father and the Father to Jesus, we would be remiss to not include the fact that this mountaintop experience is also a moment when we can commit to Jesus. God has a command for all believers within this proclamation of praise that bellows from the sky. "This is my Son, the beloved. Listen to him." Listen to him. The command was originally for those 3 disciples who witnessed this awesome event, but it is now also for us. If the Father is committed to Jesus and proud of the mission and the task at hand, then surely he wants us to buy into the whole purpose of Jesus coming to us. Yes, Jesus is making his way to Jerusalem to face death on a cross in order to establish a path to life that is eternal. That's wonderful, great, fantastic news for all of us. When we believe and place our faith and trust in Jesus, this gift becomes ours with no strings attached. We are then grafted into a loving relationship with our God that is forever and without end. And that is pretty remarkable. We don't have to lift a finger. We don't have to do a single thing. However, the purpose of Jesus goes even further than that. Jesus comes to pave our way to the afterlife, but he also comes to show us how to live in our current life, and that is something that we can all be proactive about. With the instruction to turn our ears to Jesus, to listen to him, we come to find that listening to Jesus can make all of our lives better. But first, we have to listen. Jesus tells us to love God and to love our neighbor. He says this in words as he is asked what is the most important commandment to follow. He says this in deed when he heals the sick and dines with the Pharisees, befriends the outcast on the fringes of society, and includes a bunch of ragtag fishermen and tax collectors in his inner circle. Jesus shows us what healthy living looks like. He demonstrates compassion as all are included in his fold of friends. He opens his arms wide saying, I love you this much, from here all the way to the cross. The Father instructing us to listen up to Jesus might be the most important thing that we take from this story, more so than the dazzling clothes or the appearance of some famous dead guys. For hearing these words and acting upon them, we become active agents of God's love as we're sent out into the world to mimic Jesus, as we show compassion to those in need, and as we are welcoming and inclusive to all people, regardless of who they are, where they're from, or what their backstory or history are. When others around us are happy and content and loved, then we in turn experience a happiness that is second to none. Kind of sounds familiar, doesn't it? In honor of Valentine's Day and Transfiguration Sunday kind of coming together, I tried to think of something in a similar vein of happy wife, happy life to apply to our relationship with God. Perhaps follow the word, happy Lord, or love the Father, have no bother. I don't know. I'm sure you can think of something much more catchier. Nevertheless, as we meld these two days together, we find that we need to do what God instructed us to do on that mountaintop. Listen up. Pay attention to Jesus. Walk in his ways. And that means love God and love people. That is commitment enough as we shift things from me to we. Jesus unites us all together so that we can move out into the world and leave a lasting mark of peace and hope and care. And when the world experiences this unconditional love that comes from our God, we see how much happier our own lives become. Amen. Remember as you go about your day that yesterday is gone, tomorrow does not yet belong to you. So why not live today, knowing that you never walk alone? See y'all next week. Later.